Yeah, that's my old 2003 Jeep, 17 years old. I just got it painted from black to 1970 Plymouth Duster lemon twist yellow. Going out of the driveway here. And this is the lane down to the BLM land. BLM, for those of you that don't live in the United States, stands for Bureau of Land Management. It's all public land, and you can camp on it and ride your ATVs and your motorcycles and all that sort of thing. And it's just down here about 3/4 of a mile from my house. This is all private land in here. I put some knobby tires on this CT70 clone. It's the Icebear Champion, 125cc. And they're supposed to be run at 35 pounds. I tried them at 25 and they were too stiff. So I tried them at 20 and they were still too stiff. So I dropped them down to 15 pounds. And now I get a little flex out of them. And they go through the sand a lot better than they did when they were pumped up hard. I put new shocks on this because the ones that came with it were for 300-pound gorillas. And my lightweight, about 130 pounds, couldn't flex the springs at all, the rear shocks. So I put on some OEM CT70 rear shocks. Now I've got some suspension. Of course, it still rides a little rough because of the short wheelbase. And these small 10-inch tires are kind of hard to ride in deep, soft sand. They don't follow a track very well. You end up fighting them quite a bit. There goes a jackrabbit. Most of this is pretty hard packed out here, but there's way too many places of extremely soft sand. I'll probably be able to transverse the soft sand easier on the larger tires of my CT125 when it gets here. Out in the far distance there is Cook's Peak. tires go through this soft sand a lot better since I let a lot of air out of them. It gives them more surface area instead of a hard rounded knife blade. So I can go through the soft stuff a lot easier. Although some of it's just plain too deep for these tires. Here's our second gate. We'll have one more to go through before we get out near the mountain range out there, Cook's Peak. And we're already on, when we crossed that first gate, we went on to public land, BLM land. So this all belongs to you and me. Although they lease it off to some ranchers to run their cattle out here, although you don't hardly ever see any cattle out here. But when they lease it off, it still is open to the public. And of course, you always leave gates the way you found them. If they're closed when you come to them, you close them when you leave. If they're open when you come to them, you leave them open. Unless you know for sure that some idiot left the gate open where there's cattle in there, and then you do the honorable thing and close the gate. It's in the mid-80s Fahrenheit out here today. It's a little warm, but we've been in triple digits most of the summer. So the low 80s and the 80s are starting to feel better. We're in the mid to upper 80s right now, but we'll be getting into the low 80s in a few days as fall is coming. Winter's just around the corner, although we'll have good riding weather yet for a couple more months. Here we see our first cattle. Onward and upward. Okay, this is Greenleaf Mine Road. This is a county road. Takes us back to the mines. We just went about, oh, I don't know if that's 5 or 7 miles. I forget which it is. From my house out to here. And now we've got several miles of this gravel road to get back to the more interesting stuff. So I'm going to shut the camera down and we'll pick it up later. Now we're coming up to the old Greenleaf mine, or the remnants of it anyway. There's an old ore bucket. Mostly people use this for a shooting range. As you can see, the empty cartridges, mostly shotgun, all over the place. Up on that mountain up there is where their mine is. That's where we're headed. Not sure what they used those wooden structures for. I think those were for loading the ore. And we came from way down there. And the mountain is quite a bit taller yet, but there's no roads up there. Here's one of the mine shafts. Of course, the state has come in and made them all safe so that nobody gets lost in them or gets a cave in and gets hurt. And boy, the cholla is really blooming this year. See if I can find a path in. And down. Maybe. Well, down, but back up, who knows? Well, there's what it looks like. And somebody's texting me. Well, you can see down into that a little ways, but not very far. That's what a mine shaft looks like. Extremely hazardous. Abandoned mine, keep out. Climb up out of there. getting too old for that crap. Part one of this little adventure. I see I've got about, oh, I don't know, 3 or 4 clips on here, maybe 15 minutes worth, 20. And we still have to go back down to the road, the Greenleaf Mine Road. And from there, we're going to go look at some Indian petroglyphs. There's a couple of different places out here, and a couple nice rides to get to them. So we'll go hit those petroglyphs in part 2. And if we decide to go on another little trip while we're out here, up into the mountains further or something, we may have to do a part 3. So we'll leave the camera on till we get down to the bottom of Greenleaf Road. And then when we make our turn to go on the next step of this adventure, we'll turn the camera off and call that part 2. Thanks for watching. Yeah, let's go out a little further and take a different road down. I think I saw another road coming in up here. Oh, I think this looks worse. Yeah, I think the other road up and down was better. Well, there, we made it back down. We'll turn the camera off now, and we'll start working on episode 2. Thanks for watching.